we are scammers because we're charging what we are worth.
7 years ago, you were spending around about 30,000, right, a year.
Yeah. Can you stop using the box style?
There's always someone ready to rip them down. And you know what the worst part is? It's usually other women.
Is this on purpose? Is them flooding social medias with their own content intentional so that they control the narrative? They'd rather people see that than these girls' genuine experiences and what people are saying in the comment section. Hey guys, it's Briar and let's chat about it. So has anyone else noticed how controversial hairtok seems to be as a side of social media? Whether it's from people sharing their experiences and their hair transformation nightmares, shout out to Tabitha, to people having very visceral reactions to chats about pricing, transformations, whether or not it's worth it, whether or not these hairdressers are delusional. Well, the hairdresser that we are going to be talking about today encompasses all of these topics and so much more, because today we are going to be talking about Australia's most controversial hairdresser and salon owner, Sharlene Lee of Circles of Hair.
What is with people that is so triggered by fucking money?
And if you are at all online, I'm sure you are familiar with Charlene and her salon, Circles of Hair. And I feel like for once in my life, I'm actually not being hyperbolic when I say that she truly does seem like the most controversial hairdresser in Australia. And so I really just wanted to dive deep into why. How did this happen? How did we get here? And how her reputation really seems to be due to her own social medias and the way that she presents her salons and herself. So if you want to dive deep into her, the salons, the content, other people's experiences and things like that, stick around and let's get into it.
So what was your budget?
About 1,500.
Well, it's not going to be 1,500. It's $2,153. 53,
yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Now, I feel like we all get the vibe by now, but yes, we are going to be showing hair transformations, but I think we need to make it really clear, just in case anyone's new or didn't get the memo, like, this is not a place to, like, be mean about how people look. It just feels unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Should have stayed buried. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we can talk about the quality of the transformation and a lot of other aspects, but we don't need to be mean about these clients, right? They've gotten enough of it online. I just wanted to make that super duper clear. Also, obviously, I am not a high and mighty hair person. You can call me Box Dye Briar if you want, and I'm sure Charlene, the owner of Circles of Hair, absolutely would and would hate that I box dye my hair. But I truly have been the girly that spends hundreds of dollars on my hair to doing it at home, so I feel like I understand both sides, but I'm definitely not like claiming like, oh, I know best, I have the best hair in the world, because as we know, I love to complain about how frizzy my hair is. So let's just take a few steps back and start with the who and the where. So where are these Circles of Hair salons based in Australia? I'm so glad you asked. They are based in Perth, which is in Western Australia. And for our visual learning besties, I feel like the way that I can describe like the geography of Australia and kind of like just give you a little bit of a vibe of maybe how it's interesting the way that Australia is laid out. Imagine America, right? And imagine if America, all of the cities were the East Coast cities. So like all the news, the New York, New Hampshire, all of those ones, all the ones on the side, the Georgia, the Florida, those are all the cities. And then there's nothing in the middle because it's just desert, too hot, too dry, can't deal. Basically, your whole population is living on the East Coast. The middle of the country is a desert. No one lives there. Okay, a couple people live there, but basically no one lives there. There's no major cities in the middle. And then on the West Coast, there's just California, but in California, it's like just LA, right? That is Perth. Perth is like the only major city on the west coast of Australia. So it is quite like isolated from the rest of Australia. It takes a really long time to get to Western Australia from like the other side. So it does kind of feel like it's in its own little bubble in a lot of ways. But that's kind of the vibe. That's kind of the geography. And that is where our hair salons in question are located. And the who of it all is Sharlene Lee, which to me is possibly the most Australian name you could think of. Like, she sounds like a character off Kath and Kim. According to their website, Sharlene Lee is a powerhouse in the Australian hair industry with over 30 years of experience and 2 Perth top salons under her belt. That went weird. Circles of hair. Can't say that. Subaco and Circles on Fitzgerald. And so Sharlene Lee is the brains behind the Circles of Hair operation. She is really the brains behind the socials, the vibe, everything that Circles of Hair is because of Sharlene Lee. And I feel like we have to give her credit where credit is due, because she opened her first Circles in 1995. I just want to go back to 1995. That is no small feat to have a salon open for that long, and not only open for that long, but open another one as well and have it be as Ariana Grande successful. And the other applause that I feel like we have to really give to Charlene and the Circles teams is the fact that they are award winning. I looked into the awards and it does sound like they are pretty legit, like highly regarded awards, where they have won both the Australian Hair Fashion Awards, and the Australian Hair Industry Awards. I don't think anyone calls them that. But they've won these awards for 7 consecutive years. So I feel like if you were to just stumble across Circles of Hair online, you're Googling best hair salon in Perth, you're trying to find somewhere to go, Circles of Hair really does seem to fit that bill. And at the offset, it's really hard to kind of discern why they would be so controversial. Why is this random girly pop on YouTube claiming that they are the most controversial? And I think that's a really interesting thing, is that if you don't have TikTok or socials, you wouldn't see the side of them. If you kind of just look at them on their website and on their Instagram, it's very much like any other girly pop, any other kind of high-end salon. You look at their pricing and it feels like, yes, it's expensive, but it feels kind of in line with what you would kind of expect from a high-end salon, where you go and they make you a coffee. From what I've seen, they have like their own like custom cups where they put their coffees in, and it's just very much of that vibe, right? And so at this point, the only other thing I feel like is of note to point out is that between the 2 salons, there are over 50 stylists. I hope that that also kind of gives you an image of like the type of salon. It's like very busy, high end. From what I understand from the Australians and doing the research, these are in like fancy areas, right? They're in the fancy suburbs. It's giving like stay-at-home mom vibes, like kind of mums that have kids in private school. I don't know, that's kind of what I imagine is the kind of clientele that they go for. But as we'll see in the TikToks, they do actually have quite a variety of clients that do come to see them. And so with that who and where introduction of it all, I'm sure you're kind of like, okay, Bri, you're making a lot of promises. Promise me no promises. Where's the controversy? And I think what is actually really interesting and something we will explore throughout this video is that the controversy really does come from, like, it's the call is coming from inside the house. The controversy does mostly come from the content that Circles of Hair post on their own social medias, and specifically TikTok. I feel like the perfect example to kind of demonstrate what I mean, to give you guys the best idea, vibe, and themes of why they're controversial, is to introduce you to possibly their most viral hair transformation, and that is blue poodle perm.
She wanted a poodle perm.
And if you're chronically online like me, that might mean something to you. If you touch grass and have fun in life, maybe you haven't heard that before. But last year, Circles of Hair posted a hair transformation that was dubbed by the client a blue poodle perm, and it went absolutely totally viral. It has over 16 million views, and I feel like it's the perfect place to start, because I feel like if I talk about the stats and the numbers and the backstory of it all, you just really don't get the vibe and the energy and the themes of the controversy that an audience scrolling on social media gets from the content that they post. So without further ado, I think it's time to introduce you guys to Blue Poodle Perm. Apologies, it has over 13 million views.
Your budget was about $1,500.
Yep.
So you're probably looking at about $1,500.
Yep.
She wanted a poodle perm, and I'm giving it to her. What did you want again?
Poodle perm.
She wants a poodle perm. Wow. Your hair's bleached underneath. Now I know that you've gone to a couple of salons and they've said definitely not, but we did a strand test. Where's that strand test?
Hot
Curly, do you want it?
as curly can get.
Looking at the elasticity and I'm thinking it's going to break, and wow, it's pretty good. It's going to take about a good inch off. Good. So we can put a blue on top. You've never had a perm?
No.
Never?
Never.
I reckon in this colour.
Definitely.
Hair is naturally curly. Are you sure you want a perm?
Definitely.
It's taken 1.5 hours to put all these tiny little rods in. Ready?
That is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Oh, you happy? Yeah. Let's colour it.
It's amazing.
God, look at that curl. Should be wearing gloves. I've just done my nails.
It's amazing. This has exceeded 110%. It's perfect.
You went to so many salons.
I did.
And they didn't even do a strand test, did they?
No, that's suit my personality to a T.
My little noodles.
Now, remember what I said earlier. We're not going to comment on this client's choice because as we saw in the video, this is exactly what she wanted. But I hope that by showing you this very viral transformation that Charlene posted last year really gives you an insight as to why this is such a controversial salon. Firstly, let's start with the price. A lot of people in the comments are saying, I think if she said her budget was 2,000, 3,000, 10 million, billion, Charlene would have been like, oh my God, slay queen, because that's exactly how much it's going to cost. And a lot of people were also just questioning, how on earth could you justify that price? How on earth can you say that that transformation, when her hair was already bleached, she was doing a fashion color toner over it, so it was already blue, she didn't have to color correct or anything really particularly like that. It was a haircut, a perm, and then a fashion color. The impression that the content gave wasn't giving this is a $1,500, which is around like 900 to 1,000 United States dollars, if you were wondering. But a lot of people were just like, this is not, the math ain't mathing, there's no way that this could cost this much money. And I think a lot of people were pointing to the fact that her hair and ears and neck were very stained blue. Charlene was worried that it was going to ruin her manicure. I think a lot of people are going to hold you to a very high standard, not just in the result, but in the experience when you are charging that high of a price. And I think what made this situation even more viral and controversial is how Charlene responded. Because as I said in the beginning, money and pricing is a very controversial topic online and when it comes to services like hair and hairdressing and all of those things, right? And I think a lot of people don't respond in the way that Charlene did. So let's just see how Charlene responded to everyone telling her that there's no way that this was worth it.
I do not charge what I want. I'm going to break down the bill of Kirsty's perm of $1,500. She came in on Friday. She came in for a perm consultation. I was booked, but I knew that she flew 2 hours away to have this perm, so I moved everything away to accommodate her appointment so I could do it, because you need to be very experienced when you are perming bleached hair. I had a deposit of $50. I had to cut her hair before, which was on the Friday, which is $180. K18 treatment was $65. She took 4 products. She took the pre-shampoo, the shampoo, the conditioner, and the treatment. These are the 4 products she took on Friday. $601, and then on Saturday, I went in and permed her hair. Her perm was $450 because she had so much hair. I had to charge her extra product, which I used around about 5 bottles of solution, which was an extra $200. She took the Fabuloso to keep her blue. Her perm can look like a poodle perm. It came to about $1,500. It came, yeah, so $898 and $602 is $1,500. So no, I do not charge whatever I want. Hairdressers know who you are, know what you want, know what you deserve, and as hairdressers, don't settle for anything less. The hardest part of your journey is believing in yourself. Charge what you are worth.
And I think everyone was just quite shocked at how Charlene really stood firm on her pricing, gave the price breakdown, whether or not you agree that that's how much those things should cost. And to play devil's avocado and kind of understand it from Charlene's side, I can understand if the client's like, I have $1,500 to spend on my hair. Dreams are free for me, I guess. But I can see how she was like, okay, I have $600 left. Give me that much money's worth of product. And I think a lot of people were just still shocked, but Charlene really stood firm. She really did not back down. And I think that that is a very important part of this whole controversy, is that Charlene, whether or not you agree with the price, she's very confident in how much she charges and is unwavering in that. So much so to the point that she actually went on the radio to talk about this further. So I did want to show you guys in that video as well.
I'm on my way to 94.5. They are interviewing me about that video that went absolutely viral.
And Kimber.
Hello. How are you?
Darling.
Nice to meet you.
Thank
Hello.
you.
Hi, TikTok. How you going?
Yeah, baby. You know what? Because I just keep it real and I don't bullshit online.
Yeah. I love that you own it. I love that you own it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of
exactly.
people out there like would go heavily on the defense and stuff like that. You just like,
Yeah.
this is
And
not
I
fair.
don't give a fuck because I'm 50.
Video that's gone viral. And when I say viral, I mean it was posted 6 days ago here in Perth and it's been viewed 6.5 million times. Someone getting their hair done into a blue poodle perm.
I kind of started going, all right, maybe you've shifted my perspective.
There is a lot of things involved when we are charging those high prices because, you know, $600 just worth of Kerastase products. And then you've got colour. And then, you know, I had to do a strand test, which takes so long to do that. So it's not only what we give the clients, but it's our time as well. And not saying I have over 30 years experience. And this is very common when we are charging these prices. Our clients, their bills are way over $2,000 with hair extensions. It's, you know, people have choices.
Yeah, I think to be fair, the client herself did not complain. She was very happy with her hair. Now,
I don't agree. I think that is pretty much on the money. And, you know, we have a tier section. You know, I wouldn't be in business for well over 30 years and have over 52 team members totally booked if our prices were just out not reasonable. And everyone has a choice. You know, if someone wants to buy a Louis Vuitton bag or a Chanel bag, or they want to buy a $20 bag, wages are so competitive, you know, just like your plumbers and your electricians. And, you know, my stylists, they don't work for $20 an hour or $25 an hour. We are up there as a high-end salon and we are proud.
You know, you can justify till you're blue in the face, and
Yeah.
I feel like you've got good justification, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, the thing that I love the
Mate,
most
you're
about
not
it is...
paying $1,500
No,
for a
but this
haircut.
is the thing. Nobody has to, though. If you get a
Exactly.
pre-consult, you don't have to. Go somewhere else if it's too much. Why do you think that there are people on TikTok that are so incredibly upset that you charge $1,500 for something like this?
Yeah, these trolls, they actually love you in one way because they keep on following you, you know, and they want to be like you,
Yeah.
100%. But, you know, they can't afford it. So they just have to say something negative. And there's so much negativity in the world. And this is why I put myself forward for my team. So when they go on socials, they can have the encouragement and they don't get discouraged about getting trolled. And if I get trolled, and I can just show our hairdressing industry, because I don't filter or delete any of my comments at all, because it's who I am. And I want to elevate our industry as much as possible, but be real and not just, you know, put this fake thing on Instagram, because my total TikTok is so original and I don't curate any of my videos. But, you know, it was a 6-hour appointment and I had to edit that in 2 minutes. So people just judged me in 2 minutes where they didn't hear that full consultation.
Oh, that's social
you know?
media.
And I think there's a lot of interesting talking points that get raised from this interview and from this video. It's almost hard to know where to start, but to kind of elaborate on her saying, like, we don't see so much of the appointment and the consultation, what I feel like is also really missing from her content is the high-end experience, right? Because it's really hard to see the kind of nice luxury experience in her content, and we'll see it more as we go through. But a lot of the videos, it's really loud, it's really busy. You're not kind of seeing people getting offered the tea, the coffee, like do they offer snacks? It's really hard to see the actual experience that you're being given, and it really is kind of whittled down to its most controversial parts. And I feel like when you do that, you really take out the value that Charlene feels is worth what she is providing. But I think the other really interesting thing is her impression of the money situation, and I do just feel like, and we'll talk about this more as we go, one of these controversial points and aspects of the content is obviously the money, but kind of the disconnect that Charlene does seem to have. One of the comments said, so I guess only people with a lot of money can get the hair done at the salon, and then she replies, no, that's not correct, babe. And to me, that really does show that lack of understanding and lack of acknowledgement of how much you would be asking of someone. In some way, she does kind of own the high-end aspect, but then don't pretend like it's affordable to everyone or money isn't a barrier to going to their salon. Like she says, she has enough people going and willing to pay the amount, so that's not the problem. But don't in that same breath or that same tone then say, oh, but it's not just for the rich people. It's not just for the hoities or the toities that live in the, fancy suburbs of Perth. As I'm sure you can imagine, this whole situation definitely did cause a crash out online. So I did want to show you a couple of people reacting to the blue poodle perm.
On this episode of The Price Is Not Always Right, if I were to ask you guys how much you think this perm with blue hair color cost, what would you tell me? Let's zoom in a little bit, okay? Here is a closer look of the perm with the blue hair dye. Now, what if I told you that this was $1,500? No, surely. It can't be. Yes, it is. I think the most criminal thing about this interaction right here is the fact that the client sat down, the stylist asked what her budget was. The client was like, oh, my budget today is $1,500, and the stylist goes, good, because it's gonna be about $1,500. And I know I'm gonna get comments from people that are like, well, nobody forced her to pay it. That's not the fucking point, okay? I've never in my life heard about a perm and color being $1,500.
$1,500 for a blue poodle perm. And for any Americans, that's about $930 USD. I'm going to reiterate that. $1,500 for that. And look, yeah, it's fucking expensive. I mean, the most I've ever paid for hair was about $300, but that was going from like box dye to like bright pink, so fair enough, but $1,500.
And so I feel like the major themes that we can take out of blue poodle perm, and I want to explore with you guys further, is obviously the money aspect of it, the price versus whether or not people think that that price is worth it or justifiable, and just in general the way that money is discussed, and then further the way that Charlene speaks in general, the way she speaks to both her clients and people in the comments, and then of course the hair itself. And obviously, like we said with blue poodle perm, at the end of the sleigh, if you love it, you love it. But is it actually meeting those kind of high-end standards? Is it actually living up to the price tag that it has? So let's just simply start with the most taboo of topics, which is the money situation. And I feel like there are a lot of ways that Circles of Hair talks about money in a very controversial way, in a way that they know is going to get a lot of engagement, in a way that they know is going to spark a conversation. I think there's obviously an element of a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? They spend a lot of money, businesses cost a lot of money, they're a high-end salon, so they talk about it, people react to it, they see that that's what gets the engagement. Please, I've been on my knees, change the prophecy, so on and so forth. But one specific example is the Amex, or the credit card that Charlene has for the business. And I do think from like a business and like a peek behind the curtains type of perspective, there are interesting points and interesting things to see: how much it costs to run a business, where is that money going, why are these prices so high, things like that. But then there are also things that they talk about with the Amex that I feel like probably feel a little less relatable to people, or obviously incite quite a specific reaction. So let's watch the Amex content, shall we?
How much do I owe you?
It's okay. It's on the house.
Really?
Ben, I've just paid off my Amex. It was only $203,050.
That's bloody low.
I know.
We've got shopping to do.
I know, but we did have some aprons come in, and I am going to give this apron away to
Tracy
from the UK, because she's been asking me weekly, when's the apron coming in? When's the apron? So I am sending this, but I am actually putting it on my Amex just for you, Tracy. And can you take it to the post office?
Can I go shopping then? I need to up it a bit. It's too low.
Definitely. And what else should we give to Tracy? Should we give her some
like the scrunchie?
Yeah. Let's do a scrunchie and a clip.
Little clip.
And we'll send her a brush as well.
Size 3.
Yeah. So Tracy, enjoy. It's on the Amex, on me. This month, it cannot go over 300,000 because I've got so much to pay. I've got taxes to pay. I've got BAS to pay. I've got everything. So I need to calm the hell down with my Amex because it's gone out of control. Plus, we're away in October next month.
That will take it up.
Yeah, well, with you with me, oh my God, we're going to be doing dinners and everything, so it's going to be pretty full on. So, no, we need to control the Amex.
Escucha las palabras de las brujas, los secretos escondidos en la noche, los antiguos dioses.
Is the money come through yet that I owed you for my boob job that you actually paid for?
Yes, so you owed me $21,000.
$21,000.
Okay, did you deposit it in my Bank West or my Westpac?
The Westpac account.
Did it on the Westpac?
Yeah.
Right, so I wanted it in the Bank West, not in the Westpac. So can you make sure that it's in the Bank West?
I'll do my best.
So guys, I borrowed her $21,000.
Yeah.
You couldn't get the $21,000 with the bank straight away.
Yeah.
And you had your surgeon all booked, ready
Yeah.
to go, and you weren't
Booked
going to
in.
cancel. You were going to cancel your boob job.
Yep, so I had the time off planned, it was all booked in, and a week before I had to pay it, I went to the bank and had the money there, but the bank just messed me around. I had to wait 31 days, so I was going to have to cancel it all, rebook it, ask for more time off later in the year, but Charlene actually put my boobs on her Amex.
I owe this month on my Amex. Have a look, guys. $367,000, $264. Look.
You could pay my mortgage off next month if you want. It's more than it.
Is that, how much is your mortgage?
300.
300 and
Yes, next month.
No! I've got bills to pay. I have to pay you. Are you joking? But guys, this is my average bill on my Amex, okay? Because I put everything. I put my BAS, I put my tax, I put all my products,
tits.
I put her boobs, I put a car. I even put Jeanette's car on my Amex to help my team out. But that's why my bill is that. But it's all about controlling that money. Use your Amex, you pay it off in full every month, and that's where you have to check where that $20,000 is going through. Make sure it's in my Bank West and not the Westpac.
Yeah,
Deal?
will do. Done deal.
Just a side note, I hope you guys could tell how loud it is in that salon, like what I was talking about before. And not that I'm saying loud equals not high end, but it is just these are very busy salons. There's a lot going on, and then they're filming on top of that. So it does just feel like a very hustle and bustle type of environment. And I think that just like everything else with circles of hair, that's going to be something that you kind of love or hate, right? Like some people go to the hairdresser, yes, they want to have a yapper with their hairdresser, but they also want to feel relaxed. They don't want it to be overwhelming, overstimulating, things like that. But to get back onto the Amex of it all, I think, just to speculate, I think that probably that girl had her money in a term deposit, would be my guess. And if you cancel the term deposit, it still takes 31 days, I'm pretty sure. So that was my kind of speculation of it. But I think people just find it really interesting the way that she talks about money, the way she is really open and honest about it. And I think in a lot of ways people could find this interesting to see the kind of behind the curtain of it all. But I think oftentimes the way that the message is sent, that gets lost in translation, and people end up just focusing on the more controversial or out of touch things that are being talked about, as opposed to oh, that's interesting how you do this for your business and you get the points, blah blah blah, things like that. But that's not the only way that they talk about about money on social. So I did want to show you a couple more, because I hope that with every kind of example that I've picked, it does kind of, we're building, right? We're building the foundation of the controversy, of how they're perceived, and of the content that they themselves are putting out, and what kind of a picture that paints about them, and why that makes them come across so controversial. So the first one is her and one of her stylists talking about commission.
Ben, I just looked at your figures, and I paid you $3,307 in commission last month.
It's crazy.
What did you do differently? Because, I mean, you're always taking over 2,000, but especially with all those public holidays we had, it was $3,307 extra on top of your hourly rate. What did you do? Tell the guys what you did differently, because everyone wants more money these days.
I think what really helped is also you change your mind. We're not selling. I'm not a seller. I'm not going to sell to you. That's the worst thing. I hate it. It was more of like, I actually love this product for their hair, and just telling them that connection and why they would love it and benefit from it. And it's what they need. I'm not going to sell them something they don't need. And
Exactly.
They need it. It's, I think coming from that point, that they really just were like, oh, you actually genuinely know that's going to be good for my hair.
And giving them the real benefits,
Yeah.
because it's all about beautiful glossy hair at the moment. That we all want to go lighter, right?
Yeah.
We want to go lighter, but then we all want better conditioned hair, and you're not going to get it from the supermarket. It's doing that really full consultation, and it's about, you know, having the right conversations and the right consultations with our clients. Is that including your commission, your social media commission as well? So that was included your social media plus your other targets, but not your mentor.
No,
we haven't even gone through that, so that could be even an extra couple of grand extra. So all in all, it's about consistency.
Yep, fully consistency, and then I think just being consistent with your clients, being honest, and just giving them the full service. That's what they need. It's not.
And there's a lot of salons out there that don't give the full service out there, but I'm rewarding you to give your clients the full service. Well done, $3,307 extra last month. That is amazing. You have to try to hit that $4,000, $1,000 extra a week.
And I'm sorry, I probably watched one too many anti-MLM videos at this point, but all I could think of when I saw that video was just like the boss babe mentality of it all. Like, we're not selling, we're relating, we're telling people what we'd love for them. Like, it just was very much giving me that vibe, as well as the like, wouldn't you just love to earn this much extra money? Also, I think there is definitely that like undertone of looking down on people, of like using products that you buy from a supermarket, which I think like other countries would say like a drugstore or the chemist, like the Doves, the Pantenes, the Garniers, all of that type of stuff are definitely looked down upon, where I think it kind of has been proven that you can still get affordable, good hair products. Yes, there are things like Olaplex, which have like a patented formula and have scientifically proven a specific thing and a specific bond repair. But like for a shampoo and a conditioner, to say that you can only have a good shampoo and conditioner if you spend, you know, $600 on 4 products, like, once again, it's that disconnect with talking about money, right? The last thing I thought that was very interesting, but also adds to the controversy and the perception of it all, is the fact that they have a social media commission, and that their stylists are encouraged to post on social media. Keep that in your mind, because I found something very interesting about that. And I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I did want to point that out, that the stylists themselves are encouraged to post on social media. Obviously, I'm guessing to get more clients that way, to get more likes, views, clicks, engagement, commissions, all of the above, dull. But anyway, let's move on to the next video, which is her and a client talking about how much that client had spent at the salon. And well, let's just watch it, shall we?
Did you want to know? You wanted to know how much you spent at Circles in the last 12 months? I mean, things have gone up. Just imagine if you were
7 years ago.
That was 7 years ago. You were spending around about $30,000, right, a year.
Yeah.
Just imagine if you're spending that now. It wouldn't be $30,000, probably be $45,000.
Yeah, definitely.
Christina, it is time for you to order more hair extensions. Now, these are custom made 26 inch.
26. They're a little bit shorter because it's been since February.
Yeah.
So when they're new, they're definitely 26.
A little bit
longer. A little bit longer, 26, yeah.
So this is short for you.
This is getting a little bit on the short side, yeah.
We'll order the custom made for your extensions, $1,646.
Yes, and then I usually get my treatment,
Yeah.
and then I'll get a little bit of a trim for my natural hair, just so it grows, and then obviously the blow wave, the styling at the end.
Yeah. So usually your bill's around about $2,500.
$2,500, yeah.
About $2,500. Okay. And they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, they are, but I'm going to Europe, so I just want to freshen them up, and even they're getting a little bit shorter, and as you can see on the ends, a little bit thinner. Actually, they do last longer than that. I'm just refreshing them.
It lasts for 12 months.
Yeah, you can get 12 months out of it, but I personally like the fullness of having
So
it.
you like to change your hair extensions every 6 months?
Every 6 months, yeah.
Your hair is beautiful now.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's not like you really need a new set of extensions.
It's full.
What do we do with these? Do we just chuck them in the bin? Are you joking?
No comment, no comment.
Oh, okay, we won't say that.
Well, we just like a recap of the bill for the last 12 months. Yeah,
okay, let me just check.
Okay,
I've just done the calculations very quickly. From July 2022 to July 2024, it's just over $20,454.
Well, that is what it is.
So
I mean,
you're
it's
looking
a lot,
at you're looking at around about 10,500. I can send you an invoice if you want. But
yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, why don't I just send you an invoice the last 2 years of your spending?
Yeah.
But it's just over 20,000. I would say every year you spend around about $10,500.
Yeah, but I do have extensions. I don't get product either.
No, actually, you never buy product.
I never buy product.
Do you think, spending $10,500 per year? I mean,
I used to spend more than that because I was your colour.
I know.
I was platinum.
I know.
And I'd have to get a lot of colours, so a lot less than what I used to spend.
Yeah, because I think we did a calculation when you were really blonde like me.
For nearly 10 years?
For nearly 10 years. I think you were really, 1 year, I think you were really up there by 30,000 or something in 1 year.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, yes. Because I was getting the extensions custom made.
Yeah.
And obviously that cost me more because I wanted the extra long, and at that time they didn't have the extra long.
And when you do custom made, it always costs more as well because they're just custom made to your hair.
And you order them for me, so you're out of pocket as well.
Yeah.
So then I pay them from you.
Yeah, exactly what I mean. Because the price of hair, the price of product, the price of everything has gone up. I mean, wages. How much I have to pay these guys.
Well, I would have had a 6 or 7 hour appointment because I got a full head of blonde foils. So
yeah,
whole new set.
But you're getting a whole new set plus your colour. So yeah, you're looking at about 2,500. But that is your normal spending. A long life client of Circles of how long?
20 years in October.
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
So you know that our prices is very competitive.
I'd hate to know how much the total.
Since
over 20 years?
No, we're not going to go there. I am not going and calculating that.
That would be. I don't even want to know.
That could be a house.
And well, as you can imagine, this video got quite a big reaction. A lot of people just being quite frankly shocked. I found this comment and response from Charlene really interesting because someone commented, "Oh my gosh, so much money, insane." And then Charlene replied, "If you can afford it, you would." I'm like, clearly I'm not in this client or Charlene's tax bracket. I'm not even touching it. I can't even see it from where I am. And that's life, right? I'm not here getting upset because I can't afford a Ferrari or I can't afford a trip to the Maldives. But someone at the Bentley store isn't telling me, "Oh, this isn't just for rich people. These are competitive prices." I think that's where a lot of the issue comes in, as well as like, is it worth it? I'm not going to comment on her hair. And obviously this is like coffee change to her. I don't know. But just in case you were wondering, the minimum wage in Australia as of the 1st of July is around $25, which equals to like $50-ish thousand a year if you were working full time. And obviously that's BT, before tax. So I mean, as you can imagine, this girly pop was spending $30,000 in her peak blonde girly pop era. And so I think it's very clear that these clients are very well off. And I think it's just a bit bizarre that Charlene sometimes tries to backtrack on that. And I do think that's why a lot of people do find it strange or do have the reaction that they do, because in one hand they're being told this is a fair price, this is competitive, we're high end, but also, oh, it's for everybody, anybody. And I think as well for a lot of young people consuming this type of content on social media, it has even a worse taste in their mouth, because this is coming from that generation that kind of resembles the people of like, oh, back in my day I had to work hard too to buy a house. Oh, if you just didn't buy brunch and spend your money on coffee, you would be able to afford a house. And it just feels like this message is coming from those people that are really out of touch, not just out of touch because they earn so much more than a lot of people do, but because when they were of that young person age, if she's 50 now, wait a damn minute. So she was 20 when she opened that salon? Okay, wait, right? Yeah. Okay, sure. So when she was 20 in the 90s, she's trying to equate that she had the same issues or struggles, or it was the equivalent, where I feel like at this point, there is so much evidence that it's not the same, that buying a house is so much less attainable, that making enough money to live is so much harder, that, you know, the state of the economy right now is very stressful and scary. And I think what that does is it creates a bigger divide and a bigger stress and tension, where people like Charlene have less of an understanding, but try to say they do, try to relate, but they talk about money in a way that if you were struggling or if you understood what a lot of people are going through right now, like, you just wouldn't talk about it so frivolously. I feel like she often talks about like hundreds or thousands of dollars in quite a frivolous kind of way, or that it's very easy to justify going to the hairdresser and spending $2,000 every time. But I feel like we could go on and on and on and on and on and on. Don't want to grow up. I really want to see that movie. Anyway, I think we need to move on to the way that Charlene speaks to her clients and in the comments. I feel like we've been kind of touching on the comments throughout, but I did kind of want to show a few more examples of that before we get into the transformations of it all. So let's watch some examples.
We are scammers because we're charging what we are worth. If this salon is only charging $25 to $30 for a haircut, what are they paying their team members? Are they paying them super? Are they covering all their holiday costs? Are they paying sick pay? I mean, are you kidding? Maybe you should never comment when you have no idea on our industry, because someone like myself, we put so much money in our education, in educating our amazing team. Now, charging $25 or $30 doesn't even cover overheads. What sort of haircuts is this salon producing? You love the comments as much as I do. I mean, it is absolutely hilarious. I love all the comments of people who must think these clients are forced in the chair and a gun held to their head to pay the price. Exactly. I couldn't put it better myself. So we quote all our clients, we give them a breakdown on exactly how much they are going to pay, as well as their extra services like their treatments, or if they do decide to buy products. And yes, it might come to $1,000, $2,000, depending on the service. But love your comment. Exactly. We don't put a gun to the client's head and say, you got to pay it. Like, we actually don't force the client. And why are you so concerned on how much that client spends at a salon? Come in. I mean, seriously, guys, why are you so hung up about what the client is paying? I mean, I'm confused, because since I've been on this platform, which is only 12 months, well, it's too expensive. Maybe it's expensive for you and your situation, and that's okay. But the clients that come to us, they have no problems of paying. They know exactly how much they pay because it's all broken down. Plus, all our prices are on our website, so it's not like I'm hiding the prices. And if I wanted to hide the prices, why am I making TikToks and informing the client that's how much they're paying? So guys, get real. I mean, seriously, it actually, I think it's fucking hilarious, actually. And I'm so glad there is just as many comments saying exactly like this. So we don't force them to come to circles. But tell me this, why do we have 55 stylists all booked out? And there's little Pina, so I got to get the door. But anyway, guys.
Sorry, the dog barking just woke Saxon up, and he was sleeping, and he's like, why'd you wake me up? So sorry, buddy. He's very unimpressed. There's so many interesting points, right? But I think, to me, the overall theme that I keep coming back to is that disconnect, and how it is a very stressful topic for a lot of people, but also the fact that you're leading with the price, and then a lot of people feel like the result isn't justified in what they're seeing. The experience isn't shown, so they don't see any sort of high-end treatment. It's often very loud in these videos, so a lot of people just don't see the price justification, or I guess money is a very sensitive topic. Money is a very difficult topic for a lot of people. Money is a very stressful topic, and I think if it's not for you, then you're not going to get it. And it's just quite clear that Charlene doesn't, but she is happy to kind of continue to use it as that point of clickbait, as that point to grab people in and watch her videos. And I feel like here is another video that kind of furthers that disconnect and lack of understanding around money and the way that she talks about it and the way that she talks to the audience.
What is with people that is so triggered by fucking money? $260 for new clients. So I changed my pricing structure when I won Australian Hairdresser of the Year. It is, I won Australian Hairdresser of the Year and I got a lot of new clients, and my regular clients couldn't come in. So they couldn't get in.
Right.
So to look after my regular clients, they're on a different price. So I actually have 4 tiers for me. When I raised my prices higher, I thought I would lose a lot of clients. In actual fact, I booked out.
100%.
A lot of experience.
Well, yes. Well, you've got, how long have you been doing hairdressing? Probably the same time as me.
Correct.
You know, well over 30 years experience. And, you're charging around about my price is 180. I don't take a lot of new clients myself. So we're sitting on the same price, about 180. But you're taking new clients because you work on the floor a lot more than what I do.
Correct.
So you're then, or new clients are coming in, they're paying the 260. And what about your restyles? 330 for a restyle. So award-winning salon.
Yes, correct.
So am I.
Yeah. Listen, look, people will pay whatever they want for a haircut. It's what they put value to.
100%. And people have choices.
Yeah, you do. No one's putting a gun to their head to come.
Exactly.
But there are people there that want quality, and what they want is they want consistency. That's what you pay for, is quality.
And the quality of products we use. We are a L'Oreal salon. We use L'Oreal. We use Kerastars. We use top-notch products, high experience. It's a beautiful experience. Our fit outs are worth $1 million, over $1 million on our fit out. So that's what you pay for.
The other thing is that when they come and they're wanting a restyle, you spend time. And you don't want them to spend all that money.
It's not in and out.
No, it's and you've got to enjoy it. And for me, you pay. I will service you, and I want you to be happy.
Exactly. On my last post, that no one spends $250 in Melbourne for a haircut. What a load of bullshit.
So, but the other thing, Charles, people are really silly because a haircut is not like a pair of glasses. You can't take it off.
Yeah, exactly. It's on your head 24/7, right? You can't take it off.
If a bad haircut, you're stuck with it.
I honestly feel like Carrie Bradshaw right now, where I think it was at the end of season 2, where Big says something along the lines of, I don't get it, and Carrie just replies, and you never did. And I feel like that really encompasses the whole thing of why do people get so triggered over money? Because for a lot of people, money is very stressful. They are paycheck to paycheck. It's bill to bill. It keeps them up at night. And obviously that's not their clientele. And that's why you don't get it and you never did. The top comment is literally, because we have bills to pay, food to put money on the table. So yeah, we're thinking about money. How selfish are we? It feels like when you're trying to find clientele or you're trying to put your content out on social media, especially on TikTok, you're using one of those big nets instead of a fishing line. So you're pulling in a lot of people that clearly aren't who you want, whether it's because we're not in Perth, whether it's because I'm not a fancy stay-at-home mum or a successful business lady in Perth, whatever the reason, there are a lot of people that don't fit into the box of their client, but they're still getting fed the content and they don't relate to it, and it just rubs a lot of people up the wrong way when they have these ladies being like, why are you so upset about money? Have you ever just thought about not being stressed about money? And it's yeah, I'm sure you and your clients don't stress about money, and I'm sure that for a lot of those clients, they are happy to spend $250 on a haircut. But don't be so naive as to why that wouldn't be the case for everyone, or as to why when you put this out to a very large audience and a very diverse audience, that's not going to be the experience for everybody. But anyway, let's move into the transformations of it all. And remember, the focus is, does this give worth the price? How does the experience come across? How is Charlene talking to these people? Things like that.
Can you stop using the box style? Have you used the box style when you went back to America? You did. No. You're a liar. You are a liar because that is a box style. I can tell. What did you use?
Just did my roots.
What, you did your roots?
Delayed my trip coming back. I wasn't going to make it, and just the greys were bothering me. I got 2 colours. So I was trying to play hairdresser. The lighter ones, but they mixed together, and I knew you were going to kill me.
I know. So you decided to get 2 different box styles, put them together.
I didn't mix.
Who do you think you are? Do you know how
long it takes us to be qualified as a stylist and a colourist. For God's sake, you're bloody terrible. The greys isn't so definite. It's definitely softer since we've lightened your hair up. Because when you came in last time, it was really dark.
I think I did a pretty good job, really. Except I don't like, it's like around my face.
Only because it went a little bit orange because of your box dye.
Is that what happened? Yeah.
Why don't you just go to the salon in America and have a touch up?
I can't be bothered to like plan it. I'm very last minute. Oh my God, let me just go and grab it and just do the roots. And then when I come here, you fix it. So that's worked. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, so
it blends in really nice.
You're still picking up
it's
the
not
highlights.
too dark.
No, I love it.
And then we only toned your highlights, so we didn't put any colour through here. Because colour on colour will go darker. So what are you going to do with your greys? Seriously.
Well,
what are you going to do?
What do you recommend?
If I recommend you to go to a bloody salon, not a home job. That's what I recommend. Just go to a salon.
I'm not organised. That's the problem. I need to organise.
You've got your own business. I think you know how to prioritise some time. There's a lot of women that they give and give and give to everyone, their children, everyone else around them, and then they don't even treat themselves.
I think that is it, because I don't even regularly get my nails done because I'm so busy doing everything else. I need to prioritise me.
It's really important when we get older is to put the time to look amazing. Get out of the house, put makeup on, do your hair, do your nails. You had a bit of filler yesterday. You spend money on filler, but not on your bloody regrowth. I'm confused.
It's not about the money. It's just about the priorities, not prioritising.
$500 or $600 on their hair, but they have no problem spending 15 minutes, $3,000 into their face. But then when we have a 6-hour appointment for a cut and colour, I don't get it. Put more time into yourself.
And I definitely think the context of the caption saying they're besties for 30 years is important, because obviously this, to me at least, comes across as like that classic Aussie banter, you know what I mean? Like, obviously she's giving her a bit of crap, but still the message is very clear, like, don't use the supermarket shampoo and conditioner, don't use the box dye. I think again it's just the overall message that comes across is a very interesting one, and is quite an abrasive one, I guess is the best word to use. But let's watch another video.
You're having hair extensions and a perm.
Yeah.
Why do you want hair extensions and a perm?
I just want to live like my dirty mullet fantasy, Char.
I love it. Tell me your inspiration photo. Wow, look at that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now, you came in a week ago and we did perm your hair extensions.
Holy fuck. I'm so excited.
Right, so we're going to perm your hair, so it's going to be like
So much
this.
hair.
I am so excited for this. So it's going to be like that. So we quoted you $1,693.
Yeah.
You came in last week and you paid a deposit. What'd you pay? $760. So remaining today is $933. All cool with that?
Yeah, cool.
And then we'll definitely recommend you some products on top of that. Hair here is shorter than that inspiration photo,
Yeah.
but I reckon your hair will look better than that guy's hair. God, what do you think?
I love it.
Oh my God, now for the hair extensions, but look at that. This will match perfectly. Look at that. Perfect. But now for these.
I know, I'm so excited to pop these in.
Oh my God,
Unreal.
so good. How cool is that?
Looks so cool.
What do you think?
I love it. I've never had long hair before. It feels so weird. I love it.
Now the top comment says, nah, I'm convinced this salon is for jokes. This has to be a joke. I'm still going to open that hat store next door. I'm going to be rich. It cost how much? It says, imagine paying for that. And then she said, looking at your hair, I think you need to invest more in yourself. Just imagine if it did. Charlene, I swear, this lady is ruthless. She will. One thing about Charlene is she's going to stand 10 toes down on everything she does and says. Like, sure, if that's what you're happy to spend your money on, okay, cool. But I think what a lot of people get out of watching this video is it doesn't look worth the price tag. The salon always looks so busy, so crowded, so chaotic. Like, to me, that personally just doesn't really give like a enjoyable salon experience. Like, it's always so loud in there. And like, again, this comment says, why is no one talking about the price? And she replies, because people are actually realizing it's a very normal price. And I'm sorry, to me, this is not something I'm willing to normalize. And I think whilst yes, in the circles of hair clientele and bubble, that is normal for them, but exposed to the outside world, it's definitely not normal. I feel like we've painted a pretty decent picture of the content of the owner Charlene, of the way that they speak, of the pricing, of the transformations, of kind of all of these things that spark such a visceral reaction from people that watch this content. And to me, what I find really interesting is a lot of people use social media as an extension of their business, or to almost like personify their business, right? Like it's to give a vibe of what it's like to go there, of the people, of kind of the experience you will get. And I think what is so interesting in this case is that it's very clear that Circles of Hair is for a very specific type of person, a specific tax bracket even, if you will. And so it's very much a you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. Because of that, it's really divisive. Them putting themselves online isn't inherently making them well liked as it is popular and controversial. Yes, they are getting more clientele through this method, but there is a lot of controversy and a lot of dislike that comes along with it as well. And I find that just incredibly interesting, because I think a lot of people wouldn't want this reaction, wouldn't want these types of interactions online. But I think because of Charlene specifically's personality and the way that she responds and kind of her mentality and mindset, that is kind of the result that they are getting. But actually what is more interesting to me is that they are almost solely responsible for how they are perceived online, for the narrative, for the impression that people get. Because like I said, keep it in your mind before about the commission, right? And the social media commission. When you go to look up Circles of Hair for like a client perspective, for experiences, it is near impossible to find anything. I truly struggle to find good or bad experiences. The only kind of experiences that I could see was a couple of Australian influencers. But to me, if you have such a notorious and popular and award-winning salon, I would have kind of expected to see more people posting about it because they're popular online, because it would be a topical kind of video to post. But it's actually incredibly difficult to find not a Circles of Hair video about Circles of Hair. What that has resulted in is the controversy, but at their own hands, right? At the stylist and Charlene's hands, they have created this image of themselves. And so I really could not find just like a girly pop posting like a come with me to get my hair done at Circles. Like I was desperately looking, I was scrolling, my thumb hurt, I couldn't find one. And I mean, sure, they're probably out there, but the reason I think I probably couldn't find one is when you search Circles of Hair, they flood the results with their own content. And the kind of flip side of that is that I only could find 2 negative experiences with Circles of Hair. And I think that's really interesting because a lot of people have this negative impression, but when you go looking for these negative experiences, I found 2. And that doesn't mean that only 2 people have had them, but only 2 people have posted and I could find them. And even more interestingly, a lot of people talking about other salons came up in the search bar when you were searching like Circles of Hair experience. It was a lot of other people's experiences at a different salon in a different part of Australia. To me, it was just so fascinating that when I was trying to find like a genuine client's experience, it was so difficult to do so, which to me kind of means that the reason that people don't like Circles of Hair is because of Circles of Hair. But I did want to show you the 2 bad experiences that I did find because they did get a lot of traction, and I feel like they do give us kind of the only client experience that we could find. So let's watch those now.
2 weeks ago, I went to a hair salon to get my hair done. Now I had black hair. It wasn't box dyed. I would always go to the hairdressers and get it done. Now, I said to this lady that I wanted to go like a little bit lighter. Naturally, I actually have like strawberry blonde hair. So I did have a fair few, centimeters of regrowth coming through. So instead of dyeing it, doing the regrowth black, I thought I'll try and go my lighter color. Now, I do understand how, hair remover works. I have done it a few times and I know that it's going to go orange of some sort. So, and having red already in my hair, I kind of understood that it was going to go somewhat red. Although Now, the colour that I actually wanted to go was, it was still quite dark, so it very much was achievable to get. So I will attach a photo of what the hair was supposed to look like. So it was like a dark purple, I don't know, like a dark brown with like a purple tinge, I suppose, attached to it. And she said, yeah, that's no worries, that's going to be easy to do. I thought, great, amazing. So I don't even want to take my hair down because it is so fucking bad. I don't even know if I can say that on here. I literally have no words for it. Like, my hair has never been so fried and damaged, and there was not one thing right from this appointment. So the color obviously isn't right. So when I first walked out, my hair color was fire truck red. There was no dimension, there was no warmth to it. It was literally fire truck red. I'll also attach a photo here. Yeah, so that was the color. And as you can see in the photo, there's actually bits that were cut off. So those bits that you can see that are shorter from the back, they were actually cut off. So they weren't like snapped off. Those bits were cut. So, which then leads me to the next problem of my appointment, which was the haircut. So I asked for like a nice wispy kind of, I don't know, like a curtain bang situation. Oh man, I have to laugh about it because I will cry. Okay, so yes, I asked for like a wispy curtain bang haircut, and they asked, oh, do you want to have some layers? And I said, well, not really, but I think because you have fried all my hair off, I am going to have some sort of layering happening. So that finished. So that actually took 7 hours of my day. And when that had then finished, like, I was pretty close to tears. Like, when it had all finished, you know, I kind of thought, what, this can't be the finished product. Like, the haircut itself wasn't straight. One side was longer than the other. Same as the fringe, one side was longer than the other. I had short bits here, long bits here, and these were cut in. So, not really sure what's going on there. So anyway, I came home and I bawled my eyes out, like, for hours. I was distraught. Because they cut off all my hair, there wasn't really too much else that I could really do with it. So my partner ended up contacting the hair salon and just said, look, my partner's come home, like, she's, you know, a little bit distraught, she's crying, and what are we going to do about this problem? Anyway, so they said, yep, no worries, come in tomorrow and we'll fix it up for you, you know, no charge or whatever. So that's that. And then I walked out, so she's fixed the haircut to as best as she could without giving me a actual bob haircut. And then the colour, she just put a brown over the top of it. So, and, you know, when I was there and I was, you know, explaining what had happened, I didn't feel supported. I actually felt quite embarrassed. They made me feel as though somehow like it was my fault, and that, I don't know, like, the lady that came over and that was dealing with it, I mean, she worked at the front desk. So I don't know if those ladies, if they do hair or if they're just a receptionist. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, great customer skills, really great, but are you doing my hair? No. So that was that. I didn't get an apology for my haircut. I mean, I'll show you in a minute when I take it down. It is horrific. And this is the second time, so they've chopped it a second time to make it better. Like, are these students? I'm not sure. And this place is so busy. And I get that you're busy and things like that. And, like, when I had all those things done to my hair, I had a different person every single time. Like, they are just cramming in their customers. They're running around like just mad people when, I don't know, like, I do know that they have students coming in, a lot of students actually. And I do actually think that maybe the girl that did the colour of my hair was a student. I then had someone else do my haircut, which I also think was a student. I also had another person doing my shampoo, which was definitely a student. And then I also then had another person style it. So I had 4 different hairdressers to do one job. Anyway, that's that. I'm going to take my hair out and just give you a quick glance. It is horrific. I mean, and I did just wash it, yes, last night. But, I mean, take away from all the, I don't even know, all the buffiness and all of the craziness going on, and just look at the actual colour of the hair. So I'm going to come a bit closer so you can understand what's going on. So here you can see there's like an orange tinge going on up here. They've darkened my roots as well. And as you kind of look down the color, there's just like, oh, it just looks horrific. It goes from dark to orange to red to a dark red. And then you get down to the ends here, which is almost like a burnt orange kind of color. Yeah. Considering I didn't ask for red and I asked for purple, yeah.
Now, I appreciate that that is a longer video, but I did want to show you most of it. The whole video is like 15 minutes, and she does kind of go on to do the series where she fixes her hair herself, and it does end up looking way better. So I'll put a little image of that in. But I just felt like this was so important to the story because it shows such a different experience of what is being portrayed online. When you go into her comments, there are a lot of people saying things that contradict what the Circles team is trying to put out. A lot of people saying that Circles are deleting any comments that say summer. When you say fire trick red, I was not prepared. And other people also sharing their bad experiences. I also found it really interesting that she said so many different people worked on her hair, and it felt like none of them were kind of this like professional high-end experience that is kind of portrayed online. And I feel like when you watch this, it kind of makes you question, like, is there a bigger reason to why they post so much content? Because it makes finding videos like this and finding other people's stories so difficult. And I didn't really think about it before, but Charlene being so vocal and so kind of confrontational, it would really put people off actually making a video. And so I don't know if someone really realized how she was really kind of doing something that a lot of people were probably too scared to do. And it does just kind of give us a window into this other side. Yes, of course, everybody makes mistakes and everybody has those days. No one's going to do a perfect job every time, but the experience that was given, the end result that she was left with is quite frankly horrifying. I've done better. I've done better as a teenager. You can say whatever, box dye Bri, you don't know what you're talking about, but I promise you that looked like actually when I did a bad box dye. Like that genuinely her hair looks like when I accidentally box dyed my hair too lights and then I actually gave myself the Billie Eilish roots on accident. That was a whole kerfuffle. But like I said before, there is 2 bad experience stories that I found, so let's watch the other one.
Let me tell you how I paid $680 to fry my hair and make it orange. So I'm sure we've all seen the recent post from that girl named Summer on here speaking about her experience with circles of hair. And I was watching it and everything she was saying was very similar to what I'd experienced. So when I'd first had my hair done, this was about 5 weeks ago now, I wanted to share it but was a little bit hesitant. But when I saw Summer's, I was like, I have to share my experience as well because this is not okay. This is honestly daylight robbery. So a bit of backstory, I always grow my hair out, dye it blonde or, you know, put foils in, highlights. Then I get bored very easily and I chop it all off and I get a bob and I dye it with black box hair dye. I've been doing this for like 10 years. So I know the drill when I go into the hairdressers and request some foils over my black hair. It holds really well. I don't know what kind of hair I've got, but you dye it, it will hold color really well. Dyes really blonde really well, any other color, perfect. Picked a senior hairstylist because I just wanted a good job done. So went in, sat down with her and told her what I wanted to do. She then went on to tell me, well, I think we need to strip your black hair and then we'll go in with the foils. And I was like, I haven't had that before. I haven't needed to do that before. I would just prefer to do the foils and do it gradual. But she was pretty persistent with saying, no, I think we need to just to strip it. I would like to do that. I was like, okay, all right, let's do that then. You're the hairdresser, you know, you're a senior hairstylist, you know what you're talking about, right? So anyway, she went off, did a quote up for me, came back. I think it was $100 deposit, but it was, in total, she came back with a quote of $680. I was like, Anyway, I was like, yep, that's fine. Started applying at the stripper, trusting the process. She's like coming over and checking like the color and how it's looking. And I'm seeing like it's, wow, okay, that's orange. Like that's really, really orange. But okay, yeah, you know what you're doing. Go over to the basin, wash it out, come back, and I sit down. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's really orange. Yep. She goes through and starts drying it to get it ready to apply color and some highlights. Anyway, this is when I don't know who they are, like a trainee, a assistant, whatever, but it wasn't my hairdresser that had been working on my hair for the last couple of hours, takes me over. I sit there with the foils in and the colour, and then this assistant comes over and washes my hair. One of my favourite things about going to the hairdresser is getting my hair washed. Mind you, I'm pregnant, right? Like, I'm sitting in this chair. It's been a couple of hours now. My head has just had this hair stripper in it, and then now foils in it. So my head's burning, right? Like, it's uncomfortable. She takes me over, sit down. She's so rough with my hair. Like, my scalp is a bit tender. She's so rough. She's got gloves on. The water is boiling. Like, it was so hot. I had to say, that's actually really hot. Can you just turn it down a little bit? She's like, oh, sorry, I've got gloves on. I can't really tell. Well, maybe take the gloves off then if you're not really aware of how hot the water is. Washing my hair and splashing water, like, just so rough, not gentle, splashing water all over my face. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Just uncomfortable the whole time. So anyway, that was not a fun experience. She takes me back over to the base, to my chair. Mind you, my hairstylist that I had requested and paid for, a senior hairstylist, comes over and she like checks it. She's like, oh my God, it looks so good. You're gonna love it. And then says, anyway, I've got to go now. Like, it's end of shift for me. It's like 5 p.m. You know, it's been like 5 hours. She's like, I've got to go. See ya. I was like, oh, okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that weird? Like, if you are working on a client, do you not just stay and see out the end result of that client? So the girl who washed my hair was now drying it again. Blow dries it, straightens it. I didn't even really want it straightened, but obviously it was so fried and frizzy to make it look okay. She straightened it. Hated it. Was just like, what? I should have said it before, but I'd actually shown so many photos on what I wanted to be like, eventually get brown and have like that blonde caramelly with like face framing and highlights and stuff. Like, nothing to what my hair looked like. It was bright orange. So I go up. I was like, I'm really disappointed. This is not what I wanted at all. And I hate my hair. She's like, okay, we'll come in tomorrow. Come back. I'm like, really? I don't really feel like coming back. But come back and we'll have one of our other colorists like have a look over for you. So I go back the next day, basically cry the whole way home, call my partner. Like, I hate my hair. What the fuck have I done? Like, it's just disgusting. It feels just dry and brittle and it's just frizzy and it just feels like it's snapped. I'm FaceTiming him when I get home and he's like, oh, it actually suits you. Like, I actually like it. I'm like, that's not the point. Like, it's not what I wanted. And, you know, my cousin was like, no, I do. I really, like, it actually doesn't look too bad. I was like, okay, it doesn't, but it's just not what I wanted. And my hair is fried and I just don't know where to go to from here. So I go back the next day. They're like, yeah, come through. I was like, can I speak to the manager? Like, I need to speak to someone who's a manager, who's the boss, whoever. But this is not okay. Like, I've had to come back in at $680 and I've got to come back in to get it fixed when it's not what I asked for. But this senior hairstylist was adamant that I need to strip my hair. And she's like, okay, you know, like, I am really sorry about that. Like, we'll give you this free shampoo and conditioner, like a L'Oreal shampoo and conditioner, you know, and the next time you book with us, we'll give you like your half a head of foils for free. Like, you just pay for your color. I was like, okay, whatever. Like I said, sitting down with this guy who was a colorist who didn't even end up looking after me. He got someone else too. She ends up just putting like a color over what they'd put in my root and some low lights just to give a bit of dimension and maybe not make it look so orange. Looked a tiny bit better. This is it now. This is that result. But yeah, you can see patches. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but my child is awake. But yeah, it's patchy. It's horrible. Like, I don't even know what to do with this.
And I think it's just so interesting that they had such similar experiences and they went at around a similar time, like kind of within the past few months of this year. And I feel like especially the common threads between their experience was just very interesting. You know, like the fact that they had so many people working on their hair, the fact that it was a very expensive experience and it wasn't really lived up to, and equally how the correction was handled to just kind of like put another color on top and just sort of leave these people quite clearly unhappy. And I know I quote it a lot, but if I had a nickel, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. I don't think like 2 bad experiences is like the downfall of circles or is like everyone has a bad experience, but I just think it's super interesting how when you go to these girls' comments, you do see such a different story. You do see more people having bad experiences, but yet both of them went to Circles because they are award winning, because they have good reviews, because on social media, Circles floods the searches with their own content. You just can't help but wonder, is that perhaps by design? Is that perhaps to control their own narrative and to maybe deter people from speaking out. Hey guys, it's Editing Briar here. Shock horror to no one, but somehow amongst all my yappery, I missed including Charlene Lee's reply to both Summer and Bridget's bad experiences. I don't know how I missed that because quite important, isn't it now? I feel like the response speaks for itself, but it's very clear that she's not really open to criticism, and it's something that I feel like we've seen so many times when people just love to lump a genuine bad experience or a genuine criticism in with like hate, bullying, haters, people wanting your downfall, like people are preying on my downfall, girls are mean girls, high school bullies. We've seen it, we've heard it all before, and yet people try to use this technique every single time. Unfortunately, the apology is not good enough. It's not anything you would hope for when someone actually genuinely messes up your hair. And to me, it's just really ironic because of all the foreshadowing that this video had. When, for example, Charlene was like, what kind of haircut would you get from a $20 to $30 haircut? When her and the other stylist were saying, well, of course you pay $250 to $260 for a haircut because you have your hair for a while, and if someone mucks it up, you're stuck with it for a while. It's just a bit like, oh, so where's that energy now? Where's that mentality now of we're charging these high prices so that you get these high results? What is really also interesting is the space that the comment section in Summer and Bridget's videos have created for people to actually talk about it and not be filtered or not be scared to talk about it. But anyway, here's Charlene Lee's response. And I'm sorry, I feel like I've gotten more heated while editing. I feel like I tried to remain pretty level-headed in this video, and I didn't want it to feel like I was just like attacking Charlene, but as I've like been editing and watching, I'm like, I don't feel as level-headed anymore. I do feel like more rage. So anyway, without further ado, you can watch it. Here you go, dolls. Mary Chrysler.
I've been around long enough to handle the hate. I've got thick skin and years of experience behind me, but not everyone does. Lately, I've had so many young stylists messaging me saying, thank you for showing up every day and staying resilient and authentic, because these guys are scared. They're scared to post, they're scared to speak, and they're scared to be seen, because the second they do, there's always someone ready to rip them down. And you know what the worst part is? It's usually other women. Grown women should know better. We're setting a horrible, disgusting example if we let this slide. We're showing the next generation that bullying is quite normal. Seriously? That confidence makes you a target and that success is something to be punished. And then we all wonder why they're anxious, why they are holding back. I'm not here to stay quiet. I'm here to say, if you've got nothing good to say, just scroll on or go and fix whatever's broken in you that makes you want to break someone else. They're watching us and they deserve better than this, don't you think? Thank you for always the love and the support you give me every day. Love you guys.
I feel like also I didn't initially stress how many stories you can find in these comment section, whereas when you look at the Circles of Hair and Charlene Lee comment sections, you just don't see that. Yes, there's a lot of discourse over pricing, over the way that Charlene talks to people, over the content itself, but it almost feels like it distracts from the fact that there are genuine people going to these salons and not getting this high-end experience that they are being promised. And I just find that so interesting, and you can't help but wonder if none of it was accidental. Is this to control the narrative so that yes, people are talking about the controversy, the crazy transformations and the pricing, but it makes it actually really hard to find these genuine reviews and experiences? Because like I said, I struggled. My thumb hurt scrolling, trying to find any sort of just person reviewing, experiencing these salons, and yet they're always so busy, they're always so full. How have none of these people done a silly little review, done a silly little post? Like, I don't understand how it's so hard to find client experiences and client content that you kind of can't help but wonder, Carrie Bradshaw, wonder, is this on purpose? Is them flooding social medias with their own content intentional so that they control the narrative? So even though for us, yes, we see this is a bit controversial, I'm not sure I'd post that, I'm not sure I'd charge that, I'm not sure I'd talk to people like that, that's how they want to be perceived, and they'd rather people see that than these genuine reviews, than these girls' genuine experiences and what people are saying in the comment section. Because the more you scroll those girls' comment sections, the more stories you could find. They are controversial because of the content that they put out about themselves, because of the way they present themselves online. But equally, by showing up in that way, it really deters people from feeling like they can speak out. They really minimize and negate questions around if the services are worth it, and price and money, and makes people feel silly and small for thinking that that is a lot of money to spend. But yes, honestly, even though we went over so much, I feel like there are so many more facets and aspects to the way that Circles posts and presents themselves online, and it was just like a scratching of the surface to kind of show you like an embodiment of them and how they present themselves. This marketing obviously is working, because like we see in these videos, they are very busy, they are very booked up, but it seems like the way that they are getting these new clients, the way they are marketing themselves, is by also giving a lot of people a bad impression of them who don't find it entertaining or enjoyable. But I would love to know what you guys think, so please let me know in the comments down below. But yes, I know I have been chatting for so long. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope this video didn't give just like old man yells at clouds for 2 hours. I think I actually have been filming for 2 hours, so let's see how much I can refine it by, how many of my yips and yaps I can take out. Honestly, my tummy is actually rumbling. I've like gotten hungry. That's how long I've been talking for. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. And also, thank you so much for 7,000 subscribers. I feel like it's weird to be like, thank you at these milestones, because every time someone subscribes, I'm like, me? You want to subscribe to me? That's so nice. Thank you. But no, I truly, truly appreciate it. I appreciate all of you guys so much. So thank you for watching my videos, yapping, chatting, commenting. I love you guys' comments so much. I feel like every time I read them, I'm like, damn, you guys are so pretty and smart. Anyway, I better stop yapping. So thank you so much for watching. If you stay till the end, you are a real one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to keep up with me between my uploads, I'm on TikTok and Instagram, and I'll link my vlog channel down below. I'm back in the weekly vlogging era, and YouTube should be recommending another one of my videos on the screen right now. But don't you worry guys, because I'm not funny there either. Bye.